Hello everyone. Today we will study what is codominance. In the last lecture, we studied the monohybrid cross and the law of dominance. In law of dominance, we have seen how in heterozygous condition, only one of the allele is expressed. Only one of the parental characters is expressed. Then in the next video lecture, we also studied an exception to the law of dominance, that is incomplete dominance, wherein none of the alleles or none of the parental characters was completely expressed in the offspring. Now we will see another exception to the law of dominance, that is codominance. As the name suggests, codominance. Here, both the alleles of a gene are expressed equally in heterozygous individuals, right? Both the alleles are expressed together in hybrid. And the classic example to study codominance is the AB blood group. So let's take example of the ABO blood grouping system and understand the concept of codominance. So let's study some of the basics of ABO blood grouping system. Okay. According to the ABO blood grouping system, we have four types of blood groups: A, B, AB, and O. Okay. Now there is a single gene, which is gene I, which is responsible to control the ABO blood grouping system. Now, usually we see that a gene has two alternative forms, two allelic forms. Like in pea plants, we studied the plant height is controlled by a gene and it has only two alternative forms which we write as capital T and small t. But now, in this case, with respect to gene I, which controls the ABO blood grouping system, we will see that gene I has three alternative forms. So here comes the concept of multiple allele. If a gene has more than two alternative forms, it is multiple allelism. So in case of gene I, we have three alternative forms: IA, we have IB, and we have IO, which is also written as small I. As there are more than two allelic forms, basically these are multiple alleles. Multiple alleles. Okay. Now, with respect to how the genes or these allelic forms interact, if IA and IO are considered, IA is completely dominant over IO. So if a person has IA and IO allelic forms, then only IA will express completely. So complete dominance. Similarly, if IB and IO are present together in an individual, okay, hybrid individual, we see IB is completely dominating. But if we take IA and IB together in an individual, this is also hybrid because there are a dissimilar allelic forms together. So if IA and IB are together, then both are expressed. Okay, and that is why we get the blood group AB, which becomes the example of codominance as both IA and IB are expressed together. Okay. Now, an individual will not have all the three allelic forms together. Why? Because we have our chromosomes in pairs, right? We have chromosomes in pairs, homologous pair of chromosomes. So, if we have chromosomes in pairs and the genes, the alleles are also present on this homologous pair of chromosomes, we can have maximum only two different types of alleles in one individual, right? So, as there are total three forms and we can have only two maximum allelic forms in one individual, if we have to study the multiple alleles, then we have to consider a population. You can't just take one individual and study multiple alleles because one individual will not have all the three IA, IB and IO. We need to consider a population, and when you consider many individuals, right, then there is a possibility that you will get all the possible alleles, right? Now, let's study what are the possible genotypes and phenotypes with respect to ABO blood grouping system. So we have three allelic forms, IA, IB and IO. Let's consider all the possible combinations of alleles to write the different genotypes. So first let's start with the homozygous form IAIA, right? We can have an individual wherein both the allelic forms are same. So identical copies are present. IA. This is very easy. If both the alleles are IA, then which blood group will be expressed? Obviously, it will be A blood group. The blood group is the expressed character. So it is the phenotype of the organism. Next possible genotype, let's take a hybrid IAIO. Now, what we have studied on the previous slide, right? If IA and IO are present together, then IA is completely dominating. So which blood group will be expressed here? Again, it will be A, right? Next, we have IB, homozygous individual, right? Identical allele. As both are IB, so we will get the blood group B. B antigen is expressed on the surface of RBCs. Basically, what are these like A blood group, B blood group? We are talking about which antigens are present on the surface of RBCs, right? These are certain sugars which are present on the surface of RBCs. So the sugar which is present in A blood group is different. The sugar or the antigen present in B blood group will be different. Now let's take the next one. We have IBIO, right? This is heterozygous hybrid. Again, what we have studied earlier. IBIO, if these are together, then IB is completely dominating. So what will be the blood group? We will have, again, IBIO means B blood group. Okay. Next, we have IAIB. Let's take this hybrid. IAIB. And what we have studied, if IA and IB are present together, then both are expressed. As both are expressed, that means both the antigens, both the sugars are present on the surface of RBCs. The blood group is AB. The blood group is AB. As both the alleles are expressed in hybrid, here we can say the concept of codominance is applied. And that is why we mentioned when we started the topic that AB blood group is the classic example of codominance. Why? Because here both IA and IB, when present together, both are expressed, right? So codominance. Now, what is the next possible genotype? We have IO, right? Now, as both are IO, so very easy. Now IO does not code for any antigen, any sugar. So in case of this genetic makeup, none of the antigen like A or B antigen is not coded. So the blood group will be O. Okay. So how many different types of genotypes and phenotypes do we see here? Okay. Count the number of genotypes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Now the first or the second copy which we have written, it may come from maternal side or paternal side. Okay, vice versa. Now here there are 6 genotypes possible with respect to ABO blood grouping system. What about different phenotypes? What about different blood groups? We have A, we have B, we have AB, and we have O. So total 4 phenotypes, right? So this is very important point. We have 6 different genotypes and 4 different phenotypes with respect to the ABO blood grouping system. And specifically the AB blood group explains the concept of codominance. Okay. If you take hybrids like IAIO and IBIO, then we see complete dominance, right? IAIO and IBIO, we see complete dominance. So using this single example of ABO blood grouping system, you can actually explain so many concepts, right? We can explain multiple alleles, like there is one gene, but it has more than 2 allelic forms, IA, IB and IO, right? So multiple alleles can be explained. We can explain complete dominance using these two, right? We can explain codominance using this genotype IAIB. So we can explain so many different things using the same ABO blood grouping system. Now I hope these genotypes and phenotypes are clear. Let's try to solve one problem based on this, okay, so that you understand the approach. If the blood groups of parents are given and if you are asked to find the possible blood groups in children, then how to solve such problems, okay? So here I have given you one problem. What are the possible blood groups in children if mother's blood group is A and father's blood group is B, okay? So mother's blood group is given as A and father's blood group is given as B. Now, if a person has blood group A, then what are the possible genotypes? Let's go back to the previous slide here. If there is A blood group, it could be IAIA or IAIO. Always remember, if we have to find the possible blood groups in children, take hybrid genotype and start solving. Okay? Take hybrid, because if you take hybrid, you have both the possible allelic combinations together and you get all the possible offspring in one go. Okay? So let's write it. So mother, the blood group is A, and father, we have blood group B. Okay? Let's try to solve this. We will take hybrid. Okay? So we have I, A, I, O. And for father, we will take I, B, I, O. So technically it could be like I, A, I, A, I, B, I, B also. But we have to find all the possible blood groups in children. So if you have to find all the possibilities, just take hybrid and start solving. Okay. So let's write the gametes now. What are the possible gametes? Right? Apply the law of segregation. Both these alleles will separate. So 50% of the gametes will have IA and the remaining 50% will have IO. Next, for male gametes here, 50% will have IB and the remaining 50% will have IO. Right? Now find all the possible offspring. If this female gamete and this first male gamete fuse, what is the genotype in offspring? We have I, A, I, B. And if the genotype is IAIB, what is the blood group? We have AB blood group, right? Next, if this IA gamete, if this is IO male gamete, what is the genotype in offspring? IA, IO, right? And if we have IAIO, we have studied IA is completely dominating, right? So the blood group will be A. Next, we have this IO and IB together. So we have the genotype IBIO. So what will be the blood group? IB is dominating completely. So B blood group. And last, we have IO together. So if both the recessive alleles are together, then the blood group here is O, right? This is the fourth blood group. So here you can see, if the parent blood group is given as A and B, then we have solved this problem and we get the answer as all these four blood groups are possible, right? AB, A, B, or and O. Correct? So all the four blood groups are possible. Now it will ultimately depend on whether the mother and father are homozygous or heterozygous. Okay, we have found all the possible blood groups in children. So this is how you have to approach such problems. These problems are very easy, right? You have to know how basically different allelic forms are present, right? And in which case complete dominance is seen, in which case codominance is seen. Make sure you write the gametes properly, then your problem is solved. Okay. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you.